What's up, everybody? This is Devin White, linebacker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You're listening to the LCC Network. Go Bucks.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Commissioner's Clubhouse and the LCC Network for week 6 of the fantasy offseason in the LCC. We have made it through a month and a half now, pushing 2 months. Sorry for the hiccups right now. But with me today, I've got Jordan back on the show again. What's going on, man?
What's going on, everybody? Let Patrick get rid of his hiccups there. You should know better to snack right before we go live.
I was just shoveling food down my gullet over here, trying to eat my dinner as quickly as I could before we started.
Well,
But yeah,
want
we
to
got
tell them what we got on tap?
yeah, we got a good one. Before we get into anything, real quick reminder: March 4th, this coming Friday, is the deadline to pay for your fantasy dues. If there's one thing that we're strict about in this league, it's the fantasy dues because we've been burned too many times over the years. So please, please, please get those dues in if you haven't already. I think so far the only people accounted for are Peyton. I could be wrong, but Peyton, Zach, Big Os, Jameson, Cameron, and myself. So what is that, like 6 people, 5 people? 6?
Yeah. Jameson actually shared the screenshot with me, and he actually didn't include himself, you, or
Yeah,
Cameron. But yeah,
I
it
figured,
doesn't matter. Yeah, I
yeah.
do it anyway.
I was about to say, I figured he would, pay himself or something.
Yeah, I usually just count myself too when I'm like trying to get everybody.
Yeah.
But but yeah, you can pay early. You don't have to
hmm
wait till the 4th. Jameson doesn't have to get 20 transactions in one day.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, technically, Big Os, Peyton, and Zach right now can trade if they want because they've already paid. So,
Go ahead and make people jealous, and maybe payments will come in.
oh yeah, because they'll only have 24 hours to make a counter offer if they haven't paid. Oh well.
Yeah,
So this is your chance to get an easy trade in before
that
anyone can
is
compete.
true. I might as well send Jameson my money and go talk to him.
I know. Oh man, but we're gonna go over what we got right and wrong in the 2021 season. And before we get into that, we're gonna do a little rapid fire segment between Jordan and I. It's really gonna be me asking Jordan the rapid fire questions, and then he's going to answer them the best he can as quickly as he can. I mean, it doesn't have to be like a second or anything, but definitely not a minute long or anything crazy
Yeah,
like that.
don't think too much.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but
Let's go. I'm ready.
you
Rapid,
ready?
rapid,
You feel
rapid.
rapid right now. All right. There's only a few questions here, Jordan. So
All right.
I'll start it out for you. Who is going to finish last in the LCC in 2022?
Last. Do I exclude like unknown teams?
Uh, no, just include everyone.
Okay, last place. I'll say. Oh crap! Who's a bad team? Who owns Michael's team?
Michael's old team. Well, that was Will Watson. He won his division.
Oh no, he's not going to finish last.
You say that
Mr.
though.
Nuge, Mr. Nuge,
Ooh,
bold prediction. Prove me wrong.
prove him wrong, Dad. Which brings me to my next question. Actually, did The bottom two teams in our division, Eastside Brawlers and Step Bros Fantasy Company, have a better or worse record together combined than you.
Worse.
Yes, by 1 game. They had 8 wins together. You had 9. So that's a little fun fact.
I'm just that good. Or are they that bad?
Oh, man. All right. Name a team who missed the playoffs in 2021 who's going to be in it this year in the LCC.
Hunter.
Okay, that's a good one. I can see that.
Yeah.
I think I can agree with that. All right, here's the next question for you. What team in the NFL who missed the playoffs could you see getting in?
The Colts. Did they miss?
Yeah, I think they did.
The Colts.
Now you got me second guessing myself. Did they miss?
I know they were really close, but I'm pretty sure they got
Yeah, I think they did miss. They did.
to
Yeah.
Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh got the last spot.
Yeah. Yep, that's true. Okay. Here's my next question. How many teams finished at 6-7 last season, just below 500?
4.
1.
Oh.
Can you guess who it was? I'll give you a hint. They were in the former Conference A.
Former Conference A. I don't even know. Was Mondo in?
He was in that conference,
No,
but
Mondo
he won his
was in
division.
the playoffs. Yeah. Was it Hunter?
No, that's a close one. He won 7 games. He went just above 500.
Okay, who was it?
Was Abusement Park.
Abusement Park.
Yes. True or false?
So close to 500.
True or false? Half his wins came from divisional play. Keep in mind, 2 teams from that division made the playoffs. 1 team had 10 wins. 1 had 9 wins.
True.
He had 3 of his 6 wins came from divisional play, which is crazy because that division was very competitive.
Usually, just those crap teams could still like trip up the divisional teams.
Yeah. And name the only team. This is the last question. Who went 9-1 in conference play?
In conference play?
Yep, they only had 1 loss.
Colby.
Wrong. Colby went 8-2. He was close.
Close.
The winner of that was me. I'm the only one.
Oh, congratulations!
Thanks.
That was a trap. That
was
a planted question.
And I think my only loss was to you, Jordan, in our conference.
Well, you're welcome. That was a planted question as well.
All right. Well, that's it for the rapid fire questions. And that's all we got for tonight. No, I'm just kidding. That is it for rapid fire, though. So our next segment here is what we got right and wrong in 2021. And this can be about NFL. This can be about fantasy. Anything at all, basically. As long as it's about professional football. So, Jordan, you want to tell us what one thing that you got right?
Okay. One thing I got right was, I'll say for myself in a fantasy perspective, trading for Justin Herbert.
Yes, I think you did get that right.
It was because I started off thinking I built a solid roster, which I still think I did, and I put Matt Ryan in there thinking I could win with a average quarterback, and I found out early like it still wasn't going to fly without an elite guy at quarterback, so I made the move, and I was satisfied even though I didn't get to where I wanted to be.
Yeah. Yep, you had a good year. And I think you hit the nail on the head there with your quarterback. That was a good move. For me, this is the only thing that relates specifically to me that I put down. One thing I got right, Jordan Brooks would be a top-level linebacker in fantasy, and he was. That dude just played lights out all year long. So
Yeah.
Yep, I got that one right.
I'll go ahead and give you who another one you got right when you gave me Devondre Campbell.
Yes, I got that right. But on the flip side, I also got wrong. I was like, "Well, get both linebackers. One of them will
Yeah,
pay off." We just didn't know which one
yeah.
would be
I
the
was
one.
I was I was honestly thinking Chris Barnes. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie, but
me
I'm so
too.
glad you mentioned Campbell.
I was gonna draft him if you
Yeah,
didn't. um, Another thing that I got right: BP would be a playoff team. Not only was it a playoff team, though, he won the Conference 8 championship and then made it to the Little Curve Bowl, but it lost to Cameron.
yeah.
Do you have any more right things you got right, Jordan, or is that
Um,
it?
I don't think I did. I could probably think of something, but I'll.
I've got two more if you want to buy yourself some time if you do want to think of something.
All right, that's fine.
So one thing that I got right was Daquan would regress, and he did. He did in fact regress. He made the playoffs, but barely. The past 2 years he had made the Little Critter Bowl, went all the way, and lost both times. But I just didn't like the way his team was kind of situated, and plus, there were some teams that were kind of on the rise in that conference. And this kind of brings me to the thing I got wrong. I thought that Hunter Mafali competing in the Central Division of Conference A were both going to make the playoffs. I got both of those wrong. And I figured because of that competition, that was going to leave, less of a chance for other teams to make the wild card. And I thought if Daquan did get in, it would be as a wild card team, not as a division champion.
Yeah, I got you.
And the other thing you got right is that Matt Legg would miss the playoffs. I thought for sure, and I was right about it. Matt's team just wasn't there. He didn't have a running back. It was Chris Carson. It just didn't really have the firepower, honestly, going into the season. And again, that division, just that conference, was really competitive to begin with. So, he could have survived with Chris Carson if he would have had players, talented at other
Yeah,
positions, but he just didn't have that.
definitely. Well, I still can't really think of anything that I could add to my right pile, so I'm gonna go to my wrongs,
Okay.
and I'll say one fantasy for myself, and I got an NFL one too. But so I was wrong. One of my right was trading for Justin Herbert, and before I did that, I went into the season with two pretty good running backs and strategy. I'm going to dump one when selling price gets right, and that was Nick Chubb and Jonathan Taylor. And
Oh
I
man.
not so smartly decided Jonathan Taylor was going to be that piece to move, even though I was getting about equivalent offers for Chubb, but at the time I just had seen so much more from Chubb, and so I shipped Jonathan Taylor off to Colby and Mister 300, and we all see what Jonathan Taylor did, and highest scoring running back in fantasy, and was in the MVP argument for a while. Like I definitely got that one wrong.
But I will say this though. I mean, maybe this did go through your mind, maybe it didn't. But I remember the year before, you were complaining about Jonathan Taylor playing in an offense where they just weren't feeding him the ball enough.
Yeah, that was my whole reason for picking to keep Chubb is because I probably the first 2 weeks is all I got as a sample size, and it looked very similar to what they were doing with Jonathan Taylor last year. And I was just like, okay,
Yeah,
I can get off this real quick. And then about week 3 or 4, they just gave that man the rock every time he wanted it. Like,
it's
it's crazy.
crazy because Jonathan Taylor. I mean, he had a good year the year before, and I think everyone thought he was going to be a top 12 guy, but not
Yeah,
like the way things went.
yeah.
I mean, he definitely, I think, exceeded pretty much everyone's expectations of him
And
this year.
and I would have been able to keep him longer because I took him in the rookie draft. So I really fucked that up. Excuse the language.
You're good.
but but yeah, and so it's moved to another wrong, and I'll make this about the NFL season. I was pretty convinced after I'd say week one that Sam Darnold could be a high level fantasy and NFL quarterback.
Yep.
And not right.
Not right.
We all saw it. We all saw it.
No, that's actually one of my wrongs. Is mine wasn't even just about Sam Darnold. I knew he wasn't going to be elite. I figured he's going to be good enough, and I thought Carolina had a legitimate shot at getting that seventh seed. And of course, you can say there's a lot of bias here as a Panther fan, and that's probably true to some degree. But I don't know, man. I thought we had a legit shot. I knew Atlanta was going to be bad. I knew the Saints were going to be mediocre. So I was like, man, this is our shot to really come into get in the 7 seed. But dude, it was multiple things. Like, I'm not going to sit here and just blame it all on Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
His offensive line was atrocious. Like, it just everything. Injuries too didn't help the situation.
I'm pretty sure an early prediction of mine too was there was no way Tampa wasn't going to get back to the Super Bowl, and that was obviously wrong too. So
Yeah, but I think a lot of people thought that, man. I mean, they just basically reloaded and added more talent.
well, that
So
was they didn't even reload. They just like they didn't lose anything. It's like
yeah,
they won the championship and didn't shoot a round.
yeah. I think most people got that wrong about
Yeah,
Tampa Bay.
but it is what it is.
One thing that I got right, I thought of like in the middle of this show. I was right about Jameson tanking too early. 'Cause I remember talking to him on
You
the
were
phone one day.
100% right about that. Yeah.
I was like, dude, I know you're not satisfied with where your team's at, and I know you're thinking, well, I'm just gonna get in the playoffs and lose even if I get there. But it just goes to show you, man, once you're in the playoffs, anything is possible. And his team peaked at the right time. He had better talent than that earlier in the year. So, I mean, who knows? Jameson could have won a championship possibly if he wouldn't have
Yeah.
tanked.
Yeah.
Do you think there's an appropriate?
Lesson learned, Jameson.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I need to play his sound drop. But what was I was gonna say? Do you think there's an appropriate time to tank? Like an appropriate time in the season when you're playing fantasy?
Yeah, but it's just such a fine line. You really got to know where you stand and pay attention to the rest of your division too. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You got to pay attention to what's going on because if you can stay afloat in the beginning, even if you're not looking so hot, if you think the rest of your division is going to be down, you can be a much better team when playoff time rolls around. So, but yeah, there's still an appropriate time. I mean, I don't even. When is our deadline?
Week 8.
Week 8. I mean, when you're staring 0-4 or something like that, like it might be pretty close, but
Yeah. No, I agree, man. I mean, for me, I just think that this is my personality. I'm not like an overly competitive person at all. Um, but I'm not someone who just lays down on anything. Like I'm not so competitive as I am stubborn. But man, I could be 0-5, and I don't think I would tank. Like, I mean, when I say tank, like I wouldn't be trading away all the talent I had for picks just because I know better. I've seen draft pools in the past. I've seen the way some of these teams have acquired a lot of picks, and it may have helped, but they would have been better off not doing all that.
yeah,
That's just not my DNA, man. I cannot do it. There again, I have never been in that situation playing fantasy where I've had to, face that scenario. Knock on wood. I don't want to jinx myself.
yeah. I thought about it early on this year, but it was funny. I went from sulking and thinking about tanking after week 3 to, like I said, going after Justin Herbert and deciding I was going to try to win everything. But Yeah, I don't think I've ever fully tanked either, so that would be a new experience. But I would consider it if I started 0-4, 0-5. Like
I
if
think
I
it.
if I
I,
can get enough capital out of it.
I would have to wait till 0-5 before I really thought about it.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I don't know.
but
You got anything else that you got wrong, Jordan?
no, that's it for me.
One thing that I didn't put on here that we should probably at least mention, and we can briefly discuss it, is the draft day locations. Voting started this week, today
Oh yeah,
actually.
you want to name off the locations?
Yeah, I can run through the list real quick. Let's see. Let me pull up the link. Take me a minute. I gotta switch to the LCC Google account so I can access this Google Sheets. Have you voted yet, Jordan?
I have not. I'll do that soon.
I was about to say, for those, most people have not voted. I think we had 6 people vote. Last time I looked, it was like around 4 o'clock
Yeah,
today.
I have it. I have it pulled up. If you want me to say it.
I got it. I just pulled it up,
Okay.
actually. Um, well, and let me say this, too, before we run through the locations. There's multiple questions. It's not just asking, where should this be? It's like,
Yeah.
will you even physically be there, for
Can
one?
you attend and stuff like that? So go ahead and get it filled out.
Yeah, this is as much of a as a way for us to figure out where the draft should be. It also tells us like how are you going to have to draft, so that way we can make plans. Because if half the league isn't going to be there, then it's going to be kind of hard, or it's going to be a pain more than anything to do at a
Yeah.
draft location where there's not Wi-Fi. So
Yeah.
that eliminates a couple options. But
Yeah.
I'll
I'm
run.
I'm, I'm almost thinking we need Wi-Fi anyways, but that's just me thinking out loud. But we can discuss that in Discord.
Yeah. So some of the options are Jameson's house in his backyard. He said he has a porch that we can draft on. That's like covered in everything and TV and stuff and a grill. Hub City Martial Arts, where we did it last year.
That's located in Simpsonville, South Carolina, by the way.
Yeah, which is Greenville for those that don't know.
Yeah.
Hub City Martial Arts, where we did the draft last year. Plenty of space. I'm totally fine doing it there. It didn't cost us anything besides taking food and drinks.
Yeah.
So that's an option. And I like how we just like volunteer Matt for that. We didn't
Yeah.
even like. This one is, you know, so James's backyard and this next one are subject to weather as well. So we need a
Yeah.
backup plan based off that as well, no matter what. Um, the other one is draft on the beach in Charleston, South Carolina. I like that option because, Charleston, most people in the league live in South Carolina, most people at least. So Charleston's pretty accessible for most people. Like you could make a day trip there if you really wanted to, if you didn't want to pay the money for like a hotel or
Yeah.
you didn't have somewhere to stay. And it wouldn't cost anyone anything besides gas money.
Beach isn't wheelchair accessible though for
Yeah,
me.
that's the
Right?
thing. Like we'd have to carry you through the sand dunes.
I'm gonna vote no on that one.
And the next one is the College Football Hall of Fame. So this one be a little more pricey. I looked at this a couple months ago and I've already forgotten the cost, but I actually think it might be a little more expensive than the doing it at Bank of America Stadium, which is our next one. I emailed the Carolina Panthers and did confirm that they are doing it again this year. Um, they won't be announcing the actual date though and the details until mid-July, so it'll be kind of short notice. Like once we know when they're doing it, and if it doesn't fall, in that perfect weekend, then it's like, well, okay, that's not even an option now.
Yeah.
So even for that, we need a backup plan just in
Yeah.
case. And that would be a minimum of $100 per person, no matter how many people we got to go. And we would need at least 10 people, I think, for us to be able to book it, is what they
Which
said.
if we have a date set, Hub City can always be the backup if we decided on something else first,
That's true.
because Matt can decide on that. But we'll
Yeah.
have to tell them a date in case they have like something they're getting paid to do going on.
Yeah, exactly. The other one, rent a hotel conference room in either Spartanburg or Charleston. Not like, basically turn that conference room into our own like NFL draft party type deal. Like, go all out, have like a, a podium and stuff where a person goes up there and like, with the first overall pick in the 2022 LCC Draft, blah 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 selects blah blah blah. That
Yeah.
would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
The pricing for that, I mean, I would imagine kind of similar, close to about $100 per person, more than likely, depending on the hotel, I guess. Probably more. Some are more expensive than others. The other one is an interesting idea. This is actually possibly my favorite, but it's subject to weather. It would be.
And Wi-Fi.
Oh, and that's the other thing. So I'll get to that in a minute. But this one is doing it on a pontoon boat on a lake somewhere in South Carolina. I just listed Lake Kiwi and Jocassee because they're pretty cool lakes. I've been there multiple times. The water's clear and stuff. So, but Charles actually said he has a pontoon boat. I don't know if he was just stating that or if he was saying that we could use his pontoon boat. But that would save us a lot of money.
24 of us aren't going to fit on one. We'd still
No.
have to rent something.
We'd still have to rent probably an additional one and have
Yeah.
two. We
But it
weren't
would
going to get
help out.
24 people in one anyways. And
Yeah,
24 people
yeah.
aren't going to show up for the draft. We already know that.
Keep the hope.
Keep the hope. I think we'll be lucky if we get 16, honestly. That'd be a great turnout. And then the last one, Eddie volunteered to do it in his school's gym, where he's a coach at in Greenwood. So it'd be plenty of space. Maybe we could do a pickup basketball game before or after the draft, or both. But that'd be a cool location too, I think, honestly. He didn't say there'd be any cost involved unless he's going to hook us at the very last second.
you let us know. He's like, everybody here owes me 20.
No, but obviously everyone would chip in for drinks and food and stuff like we did last year.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing we wouldn't be able to have alcohol, obviously, if it's at a school.
So everybody go put your opinion in on those.
Yeah, definitely go vote, guys. And it's a ranking thing. It's not just picking your favorite. It's you're ranking them from first to worst. That way we can gauge which one of these. Because it doesn't make sense if like half the people vote one place for first and half the people voted for last. That's so polarizing that we might as well turn to an option that's going to be less polarizing. So, yeah, just definitely, if you got time, please fill that out. We're closing the poll on this coming Monday. So please get those results in. So we have 9 votes already. So almost half the league has already voted. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, if you count like me, like.
Oh, did you vote?
I haven't voted yet, but like my
so
vote's
it'll be
gonna
10.
be in there.
Yeah. So that's cool. You got anything you want to add, Jordan?
No, I think that was a nice touch base episode.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, we'll catch y'all in next week for the 7th Commissioners Clubhouse podcast.
Week 7.
All right, guys. We'll see y'all later. Have a good night, Jordan, and everyone else. I guess you're listening this morning, so have a good weekend.
Yeah, to the whole LCC.